Nepal when you were 3 years old and look at this picture. That's
Well, the funny thing is that actually this is in Japan.
okay.
As you could see from the women behind, they have Japanese look, but it is a probably international festival in Japan where we were showcasing our Nepali culture. So I had my hat. My dad is always so proud, when he puts this hat on, not only on himself but on me, also my son now on Denny. So he loves these Nepali hats,
So one thing which I have to ask here, because it's such a different concept for me and for many of us. Like when people of two different nationalities, they marry and they have a son, like in your case, is it like they try to enforce upon their cultures upon you, and then you are like, oh, I have to learn this as well, that as well, or is it like very chilled? How is it?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, sometimes I tease my wife because now we have the same situation with my son, obviously. Exactly. So I tease my wife, when my son, some word I teach him in Russian, or when she was teaching him, like for example, Europe, Asia, Africa, all the continents. They were all the same, like sounding the same, like in Russian. Just I have to change one letter. So I told her, okay, you teach him. I will just later just change one letter, and it will be all. He will know everything in Russian also. So yeah, that's there. But I mean, in my case, I think it must be individual. But in my case, yeah, I was never enforced. I mean, okay, I was born and grew up mostly in Russia, and in terms of Nepali culture. It was natural. I mean, my father, he had always Nepali friends. There is always Nepali community in every country, and it's a very close community. It's a smaller country and a very united country. So it's a small community, and he knew a lot of Nepali people also in Russia, and they would have, celebrating some Nepali festivals, right? Like the Nepali New Year is different. Also, there are all kinds of other traditional festivals, just like in India. Yeah, there is this one that with the sister and the brother as well, all kinds of festivals that are probably similar to Indian. Yes, similar to the Indian culture too. So I've got to know the culture naturally. It's not like my father came and said, "Okay, son, so here is the thing. Yeah, it's very important you know it because we are the proud." But just naturally. So we had friends come over, and I've got to know that culture too for sure. And Nepali language, I spoke it very well when I was 3. Okay. When I lived in Nepal for just over a month. It was very brief, but when you are a kid, you learn very fast because your brains are very flexible. So, for you, Sagar, it's a pity you have to teach a lot of grown-ups, yeah? Like many of them also quite ungifted, yeah? But
I was waiting. What is Anish going to say or what's the joke?
So you have to teach all kinds of grown-ups, but their brains are not so flexible anymore. You have to tell them loosen up position 100 times. They don't understand what it is. But when you are a kid, if you would teach a kid, for example, if Samay will have a child, you can teach baby Samay. He will immediately remember everything immediately. And then the problem is though, as the brains are so flexible. Like you remember the language very fast, you can apply what you've learned, but just as quickly it disappears. Like it's a very plastic structure, so it comes in and then it also comes out. So after I didn't speak Nepali much for a while. Okay, I first spoke with my dad, but it got overwhelmed with a lot of Russian, of course, in Russia. So then it very quickly left. And I could no longer speak Nepali as fluently as before. So now I know a bit the language and recognize it, but I also can understand a little bit, but no more as fluent as I was when I was 3 years old.
Okay. I think the chat is already confused. Like, look, he's born in St. Petersburg. I'm
also confused, Sagar. It's okay, chat. I'm also confused.
He went to Nepal for a month. Then you can see Japanese women. Maybe he was in Japan. Then he's right now in the Netherlands. How was it like, Anish? You were like shifting from one place to another when you were young.
Yeah, so it's actually not that complicated. So my father, as I said, he was working. At some point, he started working according to his profession, basically, yeah, according to his degree. So he started to be the water researcher, and he did his PhD in Japan. It's the highest degree of study, so the doctor, and so that was between my age of 8 and 12 for me, these 5 years. So I was 8 years old at the time. So then we moved to Japan, and we moved back and forth with my mother, sometimes also back to Russia to keep up with the Russian school as well. And my father would work in Japan throughout. And then when his PhD was over, he got hired by a Dutch company, water research company. And we moved when I was 12, basically almost directly from Japan, so to Russia first, and then quickly to the Netherlands. And that's where we are still. I mean, my father still works at, for that company for now, but already now, of course, I have my own, how to say, my own roots. Yes, let's say I have my own, like I'm already a Dutch chess player. Yeah. So we moved as like children of my father at first, but right now I'm like myself a proper Dutch
you are
chess
a star
player.
in the Netherlands. Of course, the best chess player and one of the best sporting personalities in the country.